we doing today? We are out at the shop and I got a couple things for you. First off is a couple of videos ago, I was in the truck and I found this RCM 3000. Here we go, the RCM 3000. And I couldn't figure out what it was, and so I thought, well, maybe some of you guys will know. And it had this little antenna gizmo and everything. Well, I looked it up before I put the video up. I looked it up, I typed in RCM 3000, okay? And what it came up with was this. It's some kind of, what do you call it, a little circuit board of some type, I don't know. Well, that's not it. That's in a black box and everything. I couldn't figure out what it was, you know, so I thought, well, do a video, find out, maybe somebody else would know. So, put it up online, and within just a handful of comments, boom, found out what it was. Somebody says, okay, you read off this number here, but if you read off the other number that I read off to you on the video, he said, type that whole number in. And sure enough, it came up. It's a car alarm. So that's exactly what it was. It's not a tracking device or anything like that. It's a car alarm. And oh, we got calves on. Oh, let me show you the calves. We got a mama over here, and she's over in the other pasture over there. It's too far for the GoPro, but I'll get the other camera and zoom in. But we got a new mama and a mama and a calf. Okay, so she's over there right now taking care of him, whatever. And it looks like a little bull calf, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, we got the rest of the calves out here mowing the lawn. So we got that going for us. And the old bull, of course, yeah, I took a little bit of video of the bull. He's checking to make sure his services are needed. Oh, well. Oh, bulls, they only got one thing on their mind, right? All right, so what are we going to do today? We got the car alarm thing, you know, let you know what that was. It's in the trash now. So, and all I did is just pulled whatever, all this wire rat trap out, and I just grabbed my cutters and just snipped and cut the wire off that was going through the firewall. After the firewall, I don't know, it goes up underneath the cab somewhere. I would imagine it goes up underneath there to a maybe a speaker, you know, the alarm, you know, the speaker, whatever. So, so anyway, it works, or it doesn't work. The truck works fine without it. So, all right. So what else we got going on? I had over in one of my cabinets over here, I had an old CB radio, okay? And it wasn't a CB, it was a Connex 3300. So you drivers might know what that is. The older drivers might know what a Connex 3300 is. It's a 10-meter radio. Works on the 10-meter band, okay? And if you remember back in January when we was out in Quartzsite, we were out there in the, I did the video with the guys doing the ham radios and everything. They would know all about that 10-meter radio. Well, what they did is you have a 10-meter radio. They would sell it at like CB shops, truck stops and places like this. And you would buy it, and then they would take it and they'd open it up, take the cover off and get in. They'd tinker with the wires somehow. And I think they put a resistor in, take a resistor out, cut a wire, snip to this, solder that, I don't know. They did something to it and turned this 10-meter radio into a CB that has side channels, okay? And what that meant was you have your original 23 channel radios. CBs were 23 channels. Then they went to 40 channels, okay? And that's what we still have today is 40 channels CB radios, citizen band radios. And you didn't have to have a license, you don't have to have a license for those, okay? Hence citizen band, okay? Now, they're all low power. They're 3 or 4 watts is all. Well, this Connex, we put out, I think maybe 10 watts or something like that. It wasn't a powerhouse, but it was a little bit stronger than a normal radio. And it was always off on these other channels that nobody was on really, so you could talk a lot farther. There was not near as much, there was nowhere near as much static and traffic and noise out there, okay? Anyway, late at night, you could go off on these other channels, these sidebands, and you could hear people like halfway across the country. I can remember one time I was in Arizona and I was talking, well, no, take it back. I was listening. I was listening to a guy in Cincinnati. So yeah, you could really hear what they called skip. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And it's not what this video is about. Isn't so much the skip or the CB stuff. What this video is about though is drivers need to put a CB in your truck, okay? And when I wrecked my the Burgundy truck, when I was kind of in a hurry to get out of it because it was the last day of the last day of the week, and we were getting ready to leave on vacation the next day, and I grabbed whatever I could, and I forgot to get my CB out. So whoever's got the truck's got a almost brand new Cobra 29 LTD radio. And I always liked the Cobra 29s. The Cobra 19s are okay, but the Cobra 29s, I liked them, okay? And I was about ready to buy another one of those, and I thought, oh wait, I think I got that old Connex. So I went and looked at it, found it, went to mount it, and it didn't have the mounting bracket, the power cord, or the mic. It didn't have any of that stuff. So I was gonna have to order, buy all that stuff. And I went on to Amazon, looked, instead of going, there's not very many CB shops around the country anymore because they're all going out of business because why? Drivers ain't using their CBs anymore. So that's what I'm kind of gonna try to get across on this video here. Drivers, get CBs and use the dang things, okay? They make a huge difference, okay? The biggest problem is that I see with, you go on Facebook and there's all these Facebook groups, you know, trucking Facebook groups, and there's this huge thing, you're not a real trucker if blah, 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 okay? You're not a real trucker if you haven't done this or have done this or whatever. And it's getting kind of ridiculous, okay? But with the CBs, drivers, when I first started driving, I didn't go to truck driving school. I think there was one truck driving school in the country back then. It was down in Waco. And it was American Truck Driving School down there. And so basically a company would hire you. You know how to drive a truck? Yep. You'd throw it in gear, you know, go through the gears. Hey, yeah, he can drive. I didn't know nothing about trucking though. I didn't know a dang thing about trucking. I knew how to put the thing in gear and get it pointed down the road. And I learned as I went. School of Hard Knocks. And this was my teacher, CB. I learned so much from the other drivers, the senior drivers. Back in '87, I was a rookie. I didn't know a dang thing. But these drivers have been out there 20, 30 years. They did. And I learned all this stuff from them, okay? I learned how to be a truck driver. I didn't learn how to pass a CDL test. There was no CDLs back then, but you get the idea. Back then it was a Class A driver, chauffeur's license, okay? But nowadays, these truck driving schools, from what I gather, and I actually was a trainer for a while, and that's where most of this stuff went, they don't teach drivers how to drive a truck. They don't teach them anything about trucking, okay, how to be a truck driver. They teach them how to pass the CDL driving test, and that's about it, okay? Then they put them with a trainer. A trainer tries his best to teach them a little bit in, you know, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then they give them the keys and say, there you go. Well, I guess maybe that's a little bit better than the way I did it. I didn't know anything. I could get the thing in gear and drive it down the road, and they said, here's the keys, go to Pennsylvania. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, so in a way, maybe truck driving schools aren't too bad, but to me, they don't teach them enough, okay? And then the problem is, once they get out in the truck, they don't have a teacher. All this wealth of knowledge from these senior drivers, they don't ask for it. They don't ask for any of the, and I didn't really ask for information. Just driving down the road, you had your CB on, and you heard these other guys talking, and you heard and learned from them. Don't do this, do that, don't do that. Trucker etiquette, okay? Before I was a driver, I didn't know you're driving down the interstate in the right-hand lane, and there's a car on the shoulder. As you come up to, if there's nobody behind or in the next lane, move over. So you're not going by somebody this far away at 70 miles an hour. You're going by a whole lane away. You're 15 feet away now. Things like that. People don't realize that stuff. They don't know that stuff. You know, once you become a driver, other drivers talk about that stuff. I'm driving down the highway and I don't move over, and the driver behind me, a half a mile, a quarter mile behind me, sees that. Damn, flatbed, why didn't you get over for them cars? Them people are out there trying to change that tire and you just blew their hats off, okay? You know, oh, okay, well, I learned because of what that driver told us. You know, he scolded me, so to say. So anyway, I got to put a CB in. Now this is a Texas Ranger Elite. It's a regular CB radio. It's not like the other one over there that's a 10-meter radio that's been adjusted to be a CB. This is an actual CB, and brand spanking new, and it's got all the cord, you know, the power cord, the mounting bracket, the mic. It's got all that stuff that I would have had to pay probably about, oh, I don't know, 40 or 50 bucks for all that stuff if I'd ordered it. And this one comes with it. So, you know, for a little bit more money, I get a brand new radio, and here it is. It's a Ranger. Now right here is the meter, shows you your power meter, how much, you know, as you talk, the squelch and all that kind of stuff. Over here's the channel changer, okay, you know, the meter, the channel readout, I should say. Here's the channel changer. Here's some buttons that I won't go into right now, but this little thing right here is called a frequency counter, a freak counter. Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's the title of this video, freak counter. Talk about, what do they call it? What's that word? Clickbait. Talk about clickbait. Maybe I'll call this the freak counter video. Anyway, that's called a freak counter or frequency counter. Okay, you don't have to have it. It's just a nicety to have. But what I always heard years ago that these were really good radios. So, like I said, I've always used Cobra 29s, but I'm going to try this one. Okay, so that's this. Hopefully, this will be my last radio. And so with that, got that radio talked about. What else was I going to talk about? I got oh, I know what it was. These drivers don't have CBs anymore, okay? A lot of new drivers, and shall we poke fun at the millennials? Yeah. Anyway, these young drivers that are getting out there on the road, they go down the highway, they don't even own a CB. They don't have one. Well, I don't need a CB because I've got my cell phone, and my cell phone will tell me everything. You know, sure, the cell phone will tell you a lot of stuff. You can go on to Google Maps and stuff, and you can see traffic patterns and, you know, traffic back up here, so go that way or go that way. The thing is, if you don't know to be asking for it, you're driving along an open highway somewhere, you're out in the middle of rural Illinois, you're driving along, and all of a sudden, traffic slows down, and you slow down, get behind it, and you sit in traffic back up for 5 miles. When you could have had your CB on, 3 miles back, there's an exit. The driver going the other way could have warned you and said, hey, there's a big traffic accident or tie-up or road construction or something up ahead. And you get on the map and start looking, hey, I can get off at this exit, go over a mile and run parallel to the freeway and go around it, okay? So that's where your CB comes in real handy. That's a convenience handy. Where it really comes in handy is where it saves your life. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a little dramatic here, but I started noticing this last year, a year and a half ago, okay? January, I think it was in January, maybe February of 2020, okay? I'm on the internet, and you're seeing all these stories about this huge accident up in Wyoming. 100 truck pileup in Wyoming. Oh my God, 100 trucks piled up, and that's not counting the cars, that's just the semis. They're up there driving along in a snowstorm, somebody slicked around, got sideways in the road, another truck crashed, now the highway's blocked. Drivers are coming along. Now, in the old days, the first driver to come along probably wouldn't know a thing about it. He's driving along, whoa, whoa, he crashes into it. But before too long, we're talking within minutes, the trucks going the other way are seeing this, and they're driving along, going down the road, man, what's going on over there? And they pick the mic up, and they holler, hey, westbound, back her down, you got an accident right up ahead of you, back her down. From then on, all the rest of those trucks can get slowed down. Now, the cars don't know a thing about it, but the trucks are slowing down, and it slows the traffic down. So instead of doing 50 mile an hour on slick roads, they slow down to 20 and 30, then 20, then 10 mile an hour, and they come up gently on this accident, and they don't go running and crashing into the other guys, okay? Therefore, killing people, okay? That was a big accident, and then later on, in February or March or something like that, there was another huge accident. I can't remember where. I want to say Virginia or someplace. Had another big, huge accident, 50 truck pileup. Then nothing for the summer. And then this winter we had, I think, like 5 huge accidents. One was right here in Fort Worth.
Highway horror. A FedEx truck slams into a 100-car pileup in Fort Worth. Look again, the driver can't stop. This is the crash from another angle. Oh. Car after car crash into each other on I-35, which is coated in a slick sheet of ice that made driving so treacherous. Witnesses are shocked, helpless to do anything.
Oh, he's gonna crash into them. Oh!
Daylight brought stunning images of the twisted wreckage. Some motorists found themselves still trapped in the cars. At least 5 people were killed and many injured in what was called a mass casualty event.
Roads were slick, icy, driving along, a couple of cars get out of whack, boom, boom, driver sees it, oh, slams on the brakes, his truck gets all sideways, blocks the highway. Here comes another 15, 20, 30 trucks piling into him. Why? Because they weren't on the radio listening in bad weather. Okay, now you might not want to have the radio on all the time, but have it so when you're in bad weather, when it's foggy, when it's raining real hard, when it's snow and ice, turn the radio on to find out what's going on up ahead. You might save yourself from driving past, let's just pick Wyoming again. You're up there on I-80, coming through Cheyenne and then eventually Laramie. You leave Laramie and you're going up toward Elk Mountain, which is not a real high mountain, but they get a tons of really strong wind up there and blows trucks off the side of the road. And they shut the freeway down a lot. So you're driving along and you hear about all these accidents. Okay, maybe they haven't shut the freeway down, but you're getting ready to drive into some really nasty stuff. If you have your radio on, you'll be hearing the other drivers coming the other way, warning you about it. You can safely pull off into Laramie, into one of the truck stops, and wait it out. Where you have food, you have shower, you have, toiletries and all that. No, these idiots with no radio, they drive right on up there, freeway shuts down, everything, and they're sitting out in the middle of nowhere, freezing their butt off with no food, no water, no nothing, okay? Because they weren't listening to the radio. So, okay, that's enough of me harping on that, but that's why drivers ought to have a CB. You have a tool, use it, okay? So, all right, the next thing is just real quick, I want to show you something that just came in. When I had the accident back almost 2 years ago now, when I had that accident, my dash cam was had a suction cup mount to the windshield. Well, the impact was so hard that it smashed it up and broke it in half and everything. The chip was still good, but the box, the framework was cracked and broke open. So I threw that away, it was junk. And back in November, when I took off and went to St. Louis to pick this truck up, I got on Amazon, I ordered me a new dash cam. So I ordered this one, okay? It's a Rove, let's see here, right there. Nope, that's too, there we go. Well, I'm working on, I'm trying. I'll take a good picture of this. But anyway, Rove R2K dash cam. And I saw some reviews and so it was pretty good. It's a 4K, and high resolution and everything. Well, I bought it and didn't open it. I just bought it, threw it in the passenger seat of the truck and left it until here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was in there trying to mount the thing up, trying to learn how to use it and get it ready to go. And I plugged it in and it came on and went beep, 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 and shut back down. So I looked around trying to figure out what was wrong with it. I scratched my head a little bit. I read the manual and found, troubleshooting. Oh, troubleshooting says there's a reset button on here. Well, where's it at? Okay, right there. Little bitty hole right there. See it? A little dinky hole. You take a paper clip and you stick it in there. It's almost like on your iPhone or something to get the SIM card out. You push a paper clip in there and it resets the thing. Well, I did exactly what it said, read their instructions. It says, turn it on, do this, whatever, push that in, turn it back off, whatever the process was. And I followed it to a T and it wouldn't turn on. And I messed with it a little bit more. Next thing I know, I took a camera, looked in there and the thing is broke. The little reset button's broke. It's junk. It's total junk. So, gonna return it. Well, I bought it in November and it's like a 30-day return or not a 3-month return or whatever. It just went past, about 2 weeks passed and I couldn't return the dang thing. So anyway, that right there is junk. I mean, it's a piece of crap to me anyway. So a friend of mine, Tom, Hobotech, he's been doing all those reviews, He came across last year, about a year ago, he did a review on a Landmoto night vision device. Now, when I think of night vision device, I think of the military, the Navy SEALs or something going in. They got the helmet with the goggles that come down, the night vision goggles. That's not what this is, okay? It's a camera that is extremely sensitive to light. Okay, it works fine just like a normal camera during the day, but at night, these things are almost worthless at night. I mean, you can see taillights and you can see headlights. in a city with a lot of street lights and everything, or full moon, you can see a little bit. It picks it up, but it's still basically just a hot spot right in front where the headlights are, and a couple lines for the, you know, the highway painted lines, and that's about it. You can't see a lot with these. So if there's an accident at night, this footage is pretty much worthless because it's so dark, okay? I saw him reviewing this thing, and I thought, man, that'd be great. So I called him up. I said, hey, when you're done reviewing that, I'd like to buy that from you. And he goes, oh, well, he was sitting there telling me about it, and I says, yeah, what kind of, you know, does it take an SD card or something like that? And he goes, no, it doesn't take a card. It's not a recording device. It's not a recording device. What? Then why would they have, or what's the point? Well, apparently you set it on the dash, and when it's get all nasty and foggy or dirt, you know, you can't see, you watch this little screen on your dash. Oh yeah, that's safe. So no, let's not do that. But I thought, man, that would be a great dash cam, but it doesn't record. I was talking to Tom about 3 weeks ago. Anyway, I was talking to Tom, and he said, hey, they came out with a new one a while back, and it records. He said, call them and they will send you one and I can review it. So we're gonna open this up real quick. I'm just gonna do a real quick unboxing because I haven't even opened it yet. Got it yesterday. And I'm gonna do a review on this after I've played with it a little bit, okay? I've got to play with it first to find out what, you know, all the ins and outs about it. But come on, get out there. Anyway, I sent an email, and hey, I'd like to do a review on one of your products and everything, and we'll see how good this thing is. And they sent me back a message and said, yes, we would love to have you do a review of our product. So here it is. Let me get the plastic off here. Here's what the box looks like. Land mode. It's about the size of a rear view mirror. So it's actually a pretty large screen. And let's see. Yeah, now the wind's going to pick it. Come on, get out of here. This is me. I just opened this. It's the first time I've seen it. Now, this is not the video. This is just, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing here, you know, in a few weeks. I've sent an SD card and everything. Wow. So it's got a 128 gig SD card. Wow. It's got a card reader that you plug this thing into, a USB. You see this right here? That's pretty cool. So I got that. Now, this is the device right here. Let's pull that out. Yeah, we're getting this one. Like I said, it's about the size of a rear view mirror. I mean, that's my hand. I mean, a whole lot bigger than this little gizmo. Look at the difference on these. That's the difference. It's ridiculous, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to test this thing out. Here's the camera on the back, and somehow this thing does light amplification. There's, like in the military, there's two different kinds of light amplification. Like I said, when I was in the military, I was in M1 tanks, and the driver station had a light amplification, which is what this is, okay? What it does, it takes whatever lights out there, starlight, moonlight, you know, headlights, whatever lights out there, and it enhances it, okay? And then you have your heat signature, heat vision, trying to think of the right way to phrase that. But anyways, it works off of heat signatures. So my body is warmer than that ladder back there, okay? My hand is warmer than this device. The engine on the truck or a vehicle or whatever glows because it's hot. So when you see those kind of images where the person or the engine or the exhaust pipe or things like that are really glowing red hot, that is a heat magnifying device, okay? Whereas this is a light amplifying device. So anyway, I'm going to read up more and more about it. That's just something that's going to be coming in a few weeks. I told him I wanted to take it out and drive it down the highway and try it at night, because that's the big thing. It's night vision. And I'm hoping it'll work just like a regular dash cam during the day, but at night it'll be leaps and bounds better than this thing, okay? And normal. So if it works the way I'm hoping it will, I'll get you what do you call them, a discount code and all that kind of stuff, so you can order your own if you want. All right, so with that, that's enough. That's what I wanted to talk about today was CBs. Use them. They're your tool. They're a friend. The idiot on the other end of it might not be a friend. He might be a fool, but still, have a CB in your truck. They're very, very useful. When you pull into a truck stop and that guy's hollering and screaming about, just being a jackass on the radio, just turn it off then, okay? But when you're driving down the highway, have the radio on so you can hear the, whatever problem might be down the highway somewhere. So with that, good enough. See y'all later. Take care. And I guess I'm going to have to get busy mounting this CB up for now. So take care. Ciao.